Welcome to part 2 of the mini-series of PortoBay Hotels. In this episode, we speak to Fiona Fontes from the marketing department about the infrastructure and the systems to help digital guest experience and build a loyalty program, as well as Alex Esneriaga, the resident manager at Ilha Porto Mare, about the systems underpinning service and quality.
Hotelier's Voice. Exploring opportunity and hospitality with Ryan Haynes. Hear from the people making a difference. From revenue to operations, marketing to digitalization. Learn the thinking behind their decisions.
My name is Fiona Fontes. I work for PortoBay for 15 years already. So I started very young. My role in the company is I'm a marketing coordinator. This is very recent, but previously I was more focused on digital marketing. That's my passion.
Excellent. Well, Fiona, it's absolutely wonderful to meet you and to meet the rest of your colleagues so far as part of this mini-series. So, PortoBay, it's been wonderful to experience this over the last 4 days, and it is an absolutely exquisite hotel here in Santa Maria. Are you from Madeira? Do you live here?
Yes, I'm from Madeira. Yes, I also was born in Funchal. So for much times that I go abroad, I really like to return to my island because it's very special, as you might already experience some of our magic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The food, the climate has certainly been wonderful so far to us. And, you know, the history, you can really feel a lot of history here, and not just the buildings, but also the way it seems that you care for that sort of, that sort of style.
We are very service-oriented, and also Madeira Island is one of the first European destinations to receive tourists. So we are very trained to be very nice people that are coming, because it was our main source of economics a few years ago, because we were one of the first European destinations to receive tourists.
It has been fascinating, because having read a lot about the history where you did a lot of farming and crop production, and then that was lost to other countries, and now you're being able to build this up as a key tourist destination. Tell us firstly about, the position that Madeira tries to create for tourists. What would you encapsulate the experience for people here and the type of traveller that you get visiting the island?
So we had a different type of client or visitor until 2020 under COVID. So the tourists of Madeira were very senior couples, English and German nationality, the main of them. And they were seeking for quality service, prime locations, and also, of course, good weather and good gastronomy, culture. So I believe we can wrap all of this, nature, of course. And it was not an active tourism, okay? It was more hotel related, more to quality, relaxing. This was most typical of our not only PortoBay guests, but also the region. After COVID, we had the opportunity to have some international connections, more low-cost flights and everything. So it opened the Madeira to the world, and we have, a lot of more young people that we ever had, because the age range or average was before COVID between 60 and 65. So it's nowadays we see a lot of young people, like how can I say, they come by themselves, like they are very autonomous, while before COVID we were very dependent on tour operations. So this is also a change on our distribution channel and the way we can capture and have reservations. So a lot of change, not only on the tourism offer. We were a destination with high quality hotels, and still are, and we are a reference for the tourism, I believe. But also now we have a lot of local accommodation and different type of accommodations and different target. And that's why in some aspects we need to regulate more the tourism walks, the nature and everything is being a lot of pressure. We feel that. How can I say? It's very good to see that our company is still well positioned, even though we have a lot of offer now, like differentiate offer. We still have some traditional guests, and we have guests that can travel throughout the year, so avoiding seasonality. We have great occupancy, but the loyalty is like the DNA of our business. So we have loyalty programs since for 20 years ago. So we are very guest oriented.
It's fascinating. As I said, I went on a few tours whilst I've been here, in particular the Levada Walk, and there's a lot of younger people there, and our tour guide was talking about the explosion of tourism due to TikTok, partly during the COVID, like you say, seeing some of these most magical places up there in the mountains, your natural pools that you've got on the other side of the island, as well as the rather spooky, eerie forest, Fennel, that you have, and it was wonderful to explore there. But obviously you've got to kind of create that balance. But I guess PortoBay as a brand also has to look at how it positions itself and adapts. Is that something that you have been consciously doing here at PortoBay to look at how you diversify or capture a wider audience?
Yes. So as I mentioned previously, so loyalty is our biggest asset. Okay. So if I say loyal, we say also long-term relationship with our brand. So our aim is also to try to renovate and renew the cycle. Okay, we have also we call it the Prestige Heritage. It's also a feature of our program that can the highest members of our loyalty program can invite descendants, like people of family that are younger, to be part of a tier of the program that is with more perks. So we try with our loyalty to, how can I say, to renew guests. But concerning the new customers that are coming from different nationalities, we have investments like not only with our tour operators, but also in online travel agents. We have our position, our brand there, but also with our own media. We also do media campaigns for our targets and for direct bookings. But the main differentiation is, how can I say, the price position. So we deliver a lot of quality, but we are not price sensitive. So this type of young tourists that we are receiving now in the island, they are more focused to local accommodation, and unfortunately, some of them even don't have like accommodation. They rent some tents and do some. We call it not legal accommodation, but it's not our target. But there is still an effort in investing in new targets. But it has to be more not that much price sensitive. We do some cooperations with the influencers and travelers, and that matter to our brand, that has the profile, but it's more quality, and we can keep good average room rates and a good occupancy, and it's like we have a good product here and service.
I mean, it's a beautiful hotel. You know, the service, the food is extraordinary. The cocktails, it's very personable. You know, you don't feel that you're walking into what we call a cookie cutter hotel. You feel that you're walking into somewhere that is very local, authentic, but also obviously having that level of international quality. So where does technology play a role then for you in marketing? You know, what sort of systems do you use for your loyalty, for your marketing, for your distribution? Tell us about it all.
So technology is really a good ally for us, because on marketing we are going through the MarTech, which is marketing and technology. Fortunately, we have been working well together with our IT department and very close, so that we can introduce technology throughout the guest experience, but also the staff experience. So our main aim was, when we launched the new loyalty program, was a big project in which we had to change a lot of manual work for the staff. And we did a lot of automation, having Salesforce. It was the main partner, technological partner, and also from our property management system, Host, which is a Portuguese company. And we did a diverse and a lot of, how can I say, ways to get to a new loyalty program. But what this revamp that we did was not possible without technology, because we did, imagine, just a small detail. We did the level change manually. So we had like 80,000 manual changes in tiers. Imagine if you repeat 5 times. I had one person in marketing that goes there and count and change. So with Salesforce, we were able not only to have like the 360 vision of the profile and to deduplicate data, because this was also a big challenge. So we had first to deduplicate data, have like the pillars of like the structure of the house, then to put the decoration, to do the loyalty. So we had data quality involved. We initiated a department of data quality, because data was the oil for the success. So we couldn't construct a loyalty program without qualified data. So first we organize our systems to have like a single overview of the guests, and then we set up a loyalty engine in Salesforce that would help us doing like the automatic progression and the calculation to enhance on the tier. So we did that, and the manual job was like beside, and you have everything automatic. And this also guarantees scalability to our business, because we couldn't have we only have 17 hotels, but we are getting new acquisitions. So imagine having we had recently 360 room hotel in Algarve. So to also continue to recognize the guest and to make sure that that guest is the same in every hotel, it was a big challenge. But also with that, we also could change the email marketing tool that we had. We also went to Salesforce, and in which was connected with our CRM. And we were able to do something that we didn't do before, which was to communicate with our guests according to the tier, or to say at the checkout that you are now part of a gold tier or a silver tier. We didn't have this. We had the loyalty program for 20 years, but people were there and they had few visibility of that. And also with that, we took almost 200,000 cards throughout 3 years. We did plastic cards. They were also recycled plastic, but we stopped doing those cards to have an app where they have the digital card. And we thought, okay, our guest type is not going to be tech friendly because of their age, but it's being good. There was few requests for physical cards during 2 years that we've implemented this. And we have a new way to enhance the digital experience, because nowadays one of the challenges is to give real-time experience and like interactions with the brand that the people are used in their daily basis. So they want that on their experience. So in overall, also with that, we did app, CRM, email marketing, and also email ticketing. So for our customer care, this was in 2 years project. In our customer care team, for the reservation and direct contact with the guests, we also did a change of email ticketing to Salesforce, which enables also easiness on the process to recognize the guests, to propose quotations and everything that are more personalized, having into account their loyalty, their past reservation. So we did like a big leap to Salesforce. And it has been a great journey, because we see a lot of automation. We see a lot of more opportunities to bond with the guests and offer and do. We are still doing a technological leap, but it was like in 2 years, like the world changed for us.
So you could do a lot more. You could be a lot more direct, more personable.
And we are doing that's journey also with email marketing. And omni-channel, we are trying to do that also in the experience of the team. Like, you don't need to change constantly systems. If you are dealing with the guest, everyone should be using more or less the same platform. So if you have the visibility of email marketing for that guest, you should have like SMS, push notifications, everything that is a touch point of communication with the guest.
That's fascinating. So interestingly, regardless of it being a slightly older demographic, they've really adopted the app and really like playing with that.
Yes, we have still work to do with how can I say, an hotel app is transactional after they leave. So we are adding new features. We started with an app that was oriented to our loyalty program, but more recently we developed to give like relevant content and activities and book a table, everything that is related to the stay, to give on the app that functionalities and interests so that they can interact. Now we are doing push notifications. That is still, technology. When you are working with technology, you understand why it can take a bit longer, since you also have like an infrastructure stack that is more complex than we see like when we are not dealing with it. So we are doing step by step, and then we will also introduce digital vouchers, which is a big stone of our operation, so that we'll have like more interest in knowing that he has like received a welcome drink, and he has the voucher on the phone, or if the guest has received for being a member of the highest level, like receive a dinner, so he has to present the voucher. So we have a lot of work to do on that to give interest for the guests to use our app.
It sounds to me like you really wanted to make sure that you could connect more closely digitally with your guests. You recognize the importance of clean data.
Yeah.
So getting that data clean was essential across your 17 properties for all this to work.
That was like the game changer of everything. Otherwise, we couldn't put like the roof, like the tiles, without having data clean. So we are aware that there were some other partners in the industry that tried to construct like the house from the rooftop, and then it's a big challenge. But I'm glad that we had like a great team. We had like interconnecting like from marketing, from IT, from operations, and we did the project team that was on this, and the company believed in this. So it was very, for me, like transfer, like overwhelming, like in changing and giving opportunity to grow in the company and to see the impact on people's work. So it was very good.
I was going to say 15 years of working here at PortoBay. How has the role of marketing and your perception of the role of marketing changed in that time?
So when I started working on PortoBay, I started with loyalty and reporting. So there was a time in marketing that we were responsible for performance and reporting, and starting digital more. We had like the vision that we needed to have a website, a well-designed website, and user experience. We had like the vision. We had people, and also our marketing director, which is Fabiola Pereira, is also a very technological person and very wide and very like every day is a new challenge, and that's good because it gives like advantage. And we were the first hotel, like an hotel group, having a marketing department, because we did everything internally. So we had designers, we had people that doing copying, people on digital. So we grew up like our marketing department was also growing up with the business, and it was an added value for us because we had the tools, and we could rapidly communicate, rapidly do everything that we need because it was inside. And we did some experience like outsourcing social media and everything. We did but when you are inside, you deliver in a different way. So, but in order to grow, we need to have some outsourcing. But I believe that like in past maybe 8 years, the marketing department role is more to guarantee that we can communicate with the guests, that we had the recognition between the loyalty program and assets that we manage, that we were able to sell also, because we also do direct selling. We have e-commerce and we do campaigns and some deal with some events and everything. But now also because of our need to change our loyalty program, we saw a lot of opportunity in the new concept of MarTech. So it's marketing with technology. We are now, at the moment, responsible for the digital transformation in the company. So it's very good to see that we can implement technology. We did we implemented chatbot in 2017, which was very early stage with a Portuguese brand at that time. They were a startup, so we were very early adopters on technology. When we went to COVID, we had a lot of automation going on. Nowadays, we receive almost 100,000 conversations in our messaging platforms, which includes our chat at our website, messaging channels like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So it is like a very important platform to ours to deliver customer service, because we have automation going on. We have like almost 1,000 FAQs that are set up for all the hotels. So we have an automation of 80% of all those 100,000 conversation coming. We can automate 80% of the. So we did a technological journey, and when unfortunately the COVID came, we were very prepared to give. Not having people there to reply, and we had an excellent website, and we had digital campaigns going on. We were very prepared, not to be rude or
No, I understand. You'd invested early, and that paid off. That paid dividends, as we say. You were able to pounce on the opportunity when it presented, and this really is what business is about, isn't it? It's about making sure you evolve, and when the opportunities arise, you can grab them, and you are ready. Fiona, it's been absolutely fascinating. Thank you for taking me on this journey through the guest experience, and it's been a pleasure to meet with you this afternoon.
Yes, for me too. Thank you, Ryan.
So, Alex, you have quite an interesting story. You live here in Madeira. You're not Portuguese. You are Brazilian. You moved here how long ago?
It was 2017, so it's been almost 8 years now.
8 years, and you've been part of the group for 16. So tell us, how did that history happen?
19 years ago, I was in Dublin. I met my wife there. And then we decided to move to Brazil. We got married there, and the first place that I was looking for a job was a hotel of PortoBay in São Paulo, and I was luckily selected to work with them there. And then I started as a receptionist, then had the chance to work as a concierge, and then reception supervisor there.
A proper hospitality professional who's risen through the ranks from the door up to now a management position at a hotel. Absolutely fascinating. So you were one of the 3 properties in Brazil?
Yes. The Lotel, which is a boutique hotel.
So you worked in the central Sao Paulo. It's a very different vibe, I imagine, to here at the islands.
It is. It was a completely different experience. I was working in a city hotel with very short stays, and most of the people would go there for business. And then when I came here, it was completely the opposite. Like, people stay at least for a week in Madeira, and they all come for leisure. So what people want to have here in Madeira, it's completely different of what they want in São Paulo. So there's more human contact in here than it was in there. So people would just, get in the hotel for breakfast, dinner, and for the rest of the day, they would disappear. And here, no, in here, most of the guests, they spend most of their time in the hotel, and they do like to interact with us. So that was, for me, the first change that I felt when I came here.
Tell us about that feeling as a hospitality professional, because you're there to serve people.
Yeah.
And I guess when you're sort of like doing check-ins, check-outs, breakfast, they're gone, there's sort of this vacuum, this emptiness that must be at some business hotels. I certainly experience it. But then suddenly you are immersed in this, people are always around and you are always having to serve. What was that transition like for you? And how did that sort of really galvanize your interest in being here in Madeira and working with the hotels?
Well, I think I'm a kind of person who like people. For me, there's a quote from Herb Kelleher that he says, "The business of business is people." And for me, this, it's something that means a lot to me. And there I wouldn't have much opportunity to interact with the guests. Like, it would help then, especially when I was a concierge there, I would interact with them more, would help them with the things that they needed while they were in the city. But in here it's different. They have different needs. They need someone to see them, to acknowledge that they are here, that they want to know about yourself. A lot of people come to me and they will start with any kind of subject, but in the end, they always want to know about me. So how I got here, if I'm married, if I have children, or how my career started. So all this kind of stuff always come to the conversation somehow.
That's really nice. And I know that PortoBay has a lot of returning guests, so you must get to know these people very well.
Exactly. And I think this is something remarkable in PortoBay, because I have São Paulo, there were some, but not so much. But in here, it's something that is amazing. The amount of people that will return and will recognize you, and of course we recognize them, but we create some sense of family because of that, And I see a lot of them saying to me, when I come to this hotel, I find this sense of home away from home. But it's a home away from home that I feel taken care by people who I know.
Now, we've talked a lot about technology with your colleagues, and I'd like to know, when you're trying to deliver that proper people experience and be available to your guests, we all know that tech can get in the way and can be a distraction or a barrier or a hindrance. We see it every day in our own lives. Our friends pick up their phones and you're suddenly, not part of the conversation anymore. How does technology help you do your job, your staff, your team members really deliver that experience whilst supporting you be successful?
Quite a few things that I see technology helping us in now. Let's start with like the CMR, where you can actually anticipate the needs of the guests, knowing their preferences. What else? We can also use, for example, real-time feedback that help us correcting issues that may appear during their stay or any other thing they may need. So those things for me are clear at the moment, like there are things that really help us. But I also think that the interaction will change in a way that people will not waste their time going to the reception, for example, for small things. They will all chat through for example, we have this HiGPhi that's a tool that helps us chatting with the guests, and they use it a lot. So if they need anything or if they have any problem, so they will use it to communicate with us. And so then we gain more time. They also have more free time to use with whatever they want. So I see that in that way, it's going to be a win-win.
How do you sort of go about creating good bonds between your team and your staff? Because it's quite a big hotel, even just here at Santa Maria. You've got bigger hotels here on the island. You have the spa, you have the bar, you have the restaurants, you have the front desk, you have obviously your housekeeping staff, the staff that are out by the pool. Are they islands on their own, or how do you facilitate that they all can work and share their experiences together? If someone works here, do they just work in one area? What's the experience of a typical staff member?
Well, here in Madeira, you see a lot of the people trying to work in different hotels. So we have people there in Ilha Porto Mare that have already worked in here, or people that are in the restaurant, for example, that already worked in the Cliff Bay. And we see like Cliff Bay nowadays as a wonderful factory of good chefs as well. We do have a Michelin star restaurant, and most of our chefs in the group are coming from there now. Well, I think all of this truly helps the people to know the group, know the culture, and create this connection, which is very important. I recently had the chance to work at the PortoBay Falésia in Algarve. I was there for 3 months and a half, and I could learn a lot from them, but I could also bring a lot of knowledge from here, from the base, to the Algarve.
Yeah. Yeah, so great opportunity within a group of this size to do a lot of knowledge sharing, but also have a different experience for yourself. You mentioned that there's really good retention levels here. People stay here for a very long time, and certainly from you and the colleagues in this mini series, you've all been with PortoBay for quite some time now. But what do you do to try to find staff? What's the recruitment process like here in Madeira?
Well, especially in an island, the dynamics are very different. Everyone knows everyone here. And I think reputation of the employer is something extremely important. And that is important to retain and attract new talents. And in that matter, PortoBay definitely stands out.
That's really interesting because, I mean, there's some videos I was watching upstairs in the room. So a lot of content certainly for us to consume. And it seemed incredibly personable with a lot of the interviews with the different staff across the different departments. That, you know, as you say, it does come across as a very family oriented, and it's family owned, isn't it? So that must make a big difference. Rather than just being owned by some big bank or conglomerate, you kind of know that it's owned by a family that have invested over the years. How do you feel hospitality is changing, or the guest is changing, and their experiences or expectations?
Well, I think the first thing I see changing is the excess of formality. People want a more warm experience. They want to know people. They want a purpose for their holidays, and helping the guests to find one of their purpose in your hotel, or facilitating somehow this purpose to be found there, is something that in the future will be extremely important. People would not just go for the sake of having a holiday. They want to go to have a holiday, but also do something that has a meaning for them.
Yes, it's really interesting, I think, what you say there, and you sum it up very nicely. And I guess it makes me think about your, early career when you talked about your time on concierge and, you know, the power of recommendation coming from staff. I mean, even myself staying here at the Santa Maria, one evening we wanted to go out for a meal, and I didn't want to spend my time looking on TripAdvisor trying to find out the best restaurant. I didn't need to look at a list of 10 best restaurants according to people who've been on the island and then read the reviews. It was just nice to be able to go up to the desk, and one of your colleagues picked up 4 business cards and said, I recommend one of these 4. Depends on which cuisine you fancy tonight. Better than being given one as an option. You know, I could then go, okay, let's have a look at the cuisine. Let's just go and decide and go on one of them. But technology has often sort of come in a way in that. But as you say, people want that connection now. They want to know what is perhaps more authentic. And I guess marketing can play such a role in deceiving people that those personal experiences really do count for so much more.
No, they want to hear it from someone, from a human. Go there. I've been there. I know the place. You know, just to confirm that what they read on whatever website actually is true.
Alex, thank you so much. It's been really interesting to learn about your role and particularly about sort of how you've grown up here on this island and through PortoBay from Brazil. So thank you for sharing those experiences with me.
Thank you very much for your time, and that was my pleasure too.